Alright guys, what's going on? We got Jake in the background there trying to clean up before we leave. We're here in London, obviously. We got a huge mess of stuff here. It's been super hard to clean up while we're here. The kitchen's like super small, but we wanted to make a video to give you a summarization or a summary. I'm just gonna call it a summary of the Meridian Mastermind with Iman. Here's Jake's room. I don't know how much you guys can see here, but give you guys a summary of the Meridian Mastermind, like kind of some stuff that I'm sure you guys want to know about him, that I learned from him, and then like what I'm implementing, and how it's going to affect like me and my business. So anyway, just kind of wanted to start it off like that. But we're going to get into my computer and we're going to basically go through some stuff that you guys probably will want to learn. So anyway, we're leaving today. The camera's heavy, so I'll tell you guys that when I set it down. All right? Alright guys, so I wanted to bring you this summary and take you through some bullet points of what I learned, what Iman does that makes him so successful, and just kind of some of the overall vibes I was getting just from being around somebody like that that's super high level, like just making it real and making it like feel like it's possible. So I kind of wanted to bring what I got from it and give it to you guys. So I'll jump right in here. So the first thing that he started with was like his morning routine, and he just kind of talked about how 80% of his success and what he does to stay consistent and disciplined is all like in his morning routine. So I guess what I would ask you is like, how good is your morning routine? What does it look like? What needs to change? How could you make it better, etc.? So that's kind of what he was doing with us. We all went through our routines and then got some good information about what he does and what I can change. So this was like he writes down his day the night before. He's up by 6:30, and his personal trainer comes to his house at around 6:45. So kind of what I noticed with having a personal trainer like show up to your actual house, it really makes it real that you're going to go to the gym. It really makes it something that you're just going to do and not just kind of say you do. So I noticed right from the get-go, like, he has an accountability partner in his trainer, and he said it's like one of the best business decisions he's made. So he comes over at 6:45, and then they train from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And keep in mind, like, Iman, if you're watching this, or just somebody else, I'm sure that I'm missing some stuff. It's not exactly, but this is just kind of what I have as a reference point. But obviously, if you want to know exactly what he does, you'll have to ask the man himself. But then they train from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. He gets back probably 8:20 or so, starts showering, getting dressed, getting ready, and he's usually at his desk by 9 a.m. I didn't ask if he like eats before or how that works, but this is, like I said, just like a reference point. There's a routine, there's a schedule. And then based on kind of what he's doing currently, he has like 1 hour work blocks with like 20-minute breaks. So I'm sure this changes and he'll do different things that work better in the future. But what I got from him was he kind of mows through work for 1 hour, takes a 20-minute break, and then like gets back into it. So he also recommended working 4 hours a day. because he said that like for the people that are just starting their agency, I haven't just started, but he told me like he knew I was working more and doing more stuff. So, but for the people that are just starting, he's like, you don't really need to work more than 4 hours a day because you're not really going to be effective. So take with what you will from that. I'm just like obsessed with doing what I'm doing, so I know that 4 hours just isn't enough. But I took what he meant from it, which is just being effective and focusing on the right thing. So this was something too that was super interesting for me, was like his principles, what he lives by, and just kind of the way he goes about just his daily life and just business. So also I'm using the same font he uses in honor of the mastermind. But one of his things is that he was always constantly taking us through when we would have a question. Mainly it was me that had all the questions. I think a lot of the other people were like learning from my questions. So he would always take me back to this idea of like, can I eliminate it? So when I would ask him about invoices or onboarding or, customer communication, client communication, he would always take it through that progression. Like, can I eliminate it? Can I automate it? And then can I delegate it? So you can't eliminate the invoicing. So what does he do? He has that stuff automated so they automatically bill him, or he automatically bills his client, because it's something you can't take away, but you can automate that. So that was a huge thing. It seems like basics, but when you're trying to start your business and you're going with wherever the money's coming from, those are the little things that end up biting you in the back. So if you're trying to start now, I'll kind of give you the step by step of what you should really be focusing on. So eliminate, automate, and then delegate. So for instance, something that you could delegate like would be your laundry. Like, you can't eliminate it. You need clean clothes. I guess in a way you're automating it because but it's not automation like automated invoice. It's not like you just like click a button once and then your laundry's done forever. Like, somebody has to do that work, so you delegate that work to somebody else. And then I just kind of put Tim Ferriss's like his principles that he goes by, which is kind of similar: definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. So if you haven't checked out the 4-hour work week, you definitely have to get on that. Another thing I found super interesting was that he has no meetings past 8-minute walk from his house. So 99% of his meetings are with Zoom. But if he does happen to meet somebody, it can't be more than 8 minutes or he won't do it. So weird stuff that like makes you think, well, what if you lose the deal? But he just holds that like abundance mindset, so he kind of just gets his way. He sets his boundaries and his expectations with clients, like in the onboarding. He's not going back and forth between them about agreements, and this was a big one for me, because I noticed I've never done that really like properly. So that's a huge thing that I'm going to be implementing. But he basically speaks about like the expectations, what to expect in the first like 90 days. Like, he takes people through exactly how it's going to go, so that later on, if there are objections, he can use that information to like keep people in the deal. So that's a huge thing, and I could go on and on about that. Lastly, or not lastly, but abundance mindset, just being able to hold the fact that like you have more than enough, and that the deal or the client or the whatever will come, and that you have to stick to like your price, you have to stick to your value and your service, etc. So positioning over prospecting, this is basically like using your personal brand to position yourself, instead of like prospecting, which would be just cold calling, sending outbound DMs, which he said are still work, and I think anybody still needs to do that, but just if you can position yourself in a way where people come to you, that's like the ideal situation. And then lastly, like tons of vetting. He goes through a process for everybody that really wants to talk to him. Like for his mastermind, you can't like get there without filling out a form. If you want to talk to him on the call, he needs to know information about your business. It's not just like, just takes on anybody. So he kind of demands that, like, hey, you need to work with me. I don't need to work with you. And I think he started to implement that even before he was making a lot of money. And like that mindset carries into like bringing more money, because you're like, look, you need me more than I need you. Like, here's what I do. Maybe it can help you. And like, if I think I could work with you, like, we'll do it. So he kind of like twists the buyer-seller dynamic. Here's some logistics, which I think a lot of you guys want to know. He's got 1 employee, low expenses. Everyone has a purpose. There's auto billing. So like I kind of said, and what I mean by everyone has a purpose, it's like there's not like loose ends. I'm sure he'll tell you there's loose ends, but from like what we got, there's not loose ends with people that are like not really clear why they're there. Like everybody has a specific task, a specific objective, and there's only 1 employee. So when I say everyone, it's not really that many people. But he has auto billing, streamlined onboarding process. He uses Slack communication for like all of his clients, and then he uses simple invoices and Stripe, and like Zoom for his meetings and like acuity scheduling. So those are just like some like logistical things that he has. So here's like kind of what I implemented, or will be implementing. Some of them I already kind of started with, which is the new invoicing system. So I switched over from QuickBooks to the simple invoices and Stripe. So we haven't got any payments with this new system, but I definitely made the switch. It's like $10 a month, so it's actually less expensive. So I'm just kind of going lean with everything that he talked about, and almost like just restructuring the whole agency. And then gonna design the new onboarding system, which is just basically his system, but just plugging in my videos. So I have one already, but the videos could be cleaned up. It could be a little more professional. So just gonna like work on filming those and plugging those in. He said I have to do 3-month contracts. He's like, dude, that's essential. So it's a big deal, you go from, we did like 14-15 grand this month, and we spent 2 weeks here in Paris and London. So to do 3-month contracts, it's a big deal, because like you fix the invoicing, so it's automatic billing. I'm not chasing after people to pay and trying to reconvince them that what they initially paid for was worth it. It's like, because that like effort to get somebody to buy it the first time, like that should be, you should leverage that effort to keep people on for a long period of time. Because if you have like all that effort, they finally sign up, and then you're going back and forth between trying to convince them again, it's like you're selling like 3-4 times to the same people. So like I said, it seems common sense. If you haven't started your agency, like just follow kind of what I'm saying here. But it's a big deal, because now I know for any new client I get, it's gonna be a 3-month contract. It's gonna be automatic payment. There's gonna be automated onboarding, and like that's a huge deal. Like that's half the agency right there. So 3-month contracts, and then he suggested because I told him my cousin and I have like the video business side, and that we didn't like we didn't know where it was gonna go. We still don't really like know the logistical side of like, are we gonna do video? Are we gonna do agency clients? And so kind of tried to explain that to him, and he just said like for the agency side, like if you're doing the work, if you're the one doing the contracting, like you should either have a separate like LLC for 100% ownership, so that like if you're trying to keep the costs lean, you're not blending things together with like video expenses and the stuff that you're doing for video. So like if you're starting, you obviously just want to like keep stuff lean, keep stuff on your own, and just keep the cost low. That was the main thing. Like he was telling me he didn't want like the profits to be taken because like we're spending stuff on video. Like it should be kept separate or combined together and then just organized differently. So that was another thing he had mentioned. And then I don't know if I said increase my service price. So right now it's $1,500. He said I should increase it to $2,500. And he gave me some solid tools on how to do that with sales. But I won't go into all that now. Lastly, he told me to optimize my funnel. My funnel is what's getting me the clients right now. So I know it's working with the tools and the things that he told me. I feel like it's going to be a lot better, like a lot better. And like I said, so then he said, feed the machine. That's the end of the presentation, but I'll wrap it up with this. You go from 14, 15 grand revenue, and you have your invoices accounted for, but you don't have automated billing, the onboarding process, and the expectations are not set. So people will call me, hey, I can't find the onboarding, or I don't know how to do this, can you help? So like that's just something I've experienced. Okay, not automated invoices, fixing people and helping them on their onboarding thing, going month to month, wondering if they're going to keep continuing and trying to chase after them to sell it again. Low profit margins because we're blending like the video business and using what I'm getting from the agency to pay for like video expenses and stuff like that. And then you have like all those things kind of just moving all at once without a real structure, and then you fix it to auto bill, auto onboarding, 3-month contracts, so that when you sign somebody on, you're minimum going to have them there for 3 months. You set the expectation when they sign up with you so they know what to expect. You have their information so they can't object to you. And an example of that would be if I make a call to somebody, sign them up and just ask them some general questions. If on day 25 or day 30 they tell me, hey, well, the quality of the leads are low, I don't want to keep continuing, or if I have information about their business beforehand, I can really leverage that to say, well, based on what you told me, it takes you 100 leads to get 10 appointments. And out of those 10 appointments, you'll probably get 2 listings. And out of those 2 listings, you'll sell 1 home. And 1 home sale is worth $25,000. So I delivered you 100 leads this month, and you're telling me the quality's low. So maybe you don't know your specific numbers based on what you actually need to convert. So I'm holding up my end. Is there something you're not holding up? So just stuff like that changes the game, because like I said, auto invoice, auto contract, auto onboarding, set expectations, charge higher prices, deliver a good service, and feed a funnel that's going to bring you higher quality like clients. I mean, there's no reason that in the next few months we're not 25K profit. Like, I believe that. So it's going to take some work, some restructuring, some clear vision, some focus, but just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully it was valuable. If you're not in my group, I'm probably sending this straight to the group first, but if you're not in the group, join the group. There'll be a link below. It's my messenger. Some of you will get my course for free, and some of you have the ability to get some free coaching or whatever. So if you guys like this, let me know. If you want to hear more about sales or the funnel or contracts or whatever, let me know. I'm going to be making some big changes. So yeah, we're leaving tomorrow for London, and got some exciting stuff to happen. So hopefully you guys like this. Peace.